rejection is one that really stuck out to me because I didn't know I really experienced rejection in my life until Dan was talking. It just hit me like a bus because I am adopted and I experienced a lot of rejection in my life. Went through like a flashback of me just sitting in my room, crying, feeling that rejection and how it was really painful for me. After class, I just spent some time with the Lord and He really encountered me in a way I never really experienced before, and I never realized I didn't forgive my birth parents from all the trauma that they made me go through. And I'm like, I thought I did, and the Lord was like, no, Isaiah, you never forgave them. And after I did that, a wave of like peace and warmth just came over me while I was like uncontrollably like sobbing to help you through these times too, whether it may be in crisis.
Like, that just hit me like a ton of bricks. Like, if I'm an heir of Christ, an heir gets everything. Like, there's nothing the heir does not get. So, like, if we are heirs of Christ, what are we afraid of? Like, why do we fear that we're not going to get enough? The second thing is, I am adopted, which means I am His, so I have nothing to fear because I'm His child. And then this, like, hit me again, like, I am not a child of fear anymore. Because I've been living in fear that God would not provide, that God would somehow not measure up. Like, He's singing over me. I am His and He is mine. I'm loved. And I get this feeling of like a big hug. Then He's putting a finger under my chin, holding my head up, and looking at me with eyes of love.
Being it, God just showed me like an ocean, I guess, and like it's kind of like when you look out at an ocean, like you can't see any land, and it's like that's God's love for me, and He's like, Sarah, stop looking for the end of my love because it doesn't stop.
So yeah, I was just really praying into that and kind of like overwhelmed with like this gratefulness of this new life and identity that I have and how much security there is in being God's child. As I was praying, I asked God, I was like, okay, what does it mean to be your child? And then immediately He brought to mind something that at first I didn't understand the gravity of it, but I'll explain. He said, fully loved with no exception. I forgot to like say that like, no, I love you and you're not the exception. Like my love is still for you too. I was like,
that's so good.
Ready, set, go.
I am convinced.
I am convinced.
Nothing can separate.
Nothing can separate
us from God's love.
us from God's love.
No death.
No death.
No life.
No life.
No angels.
No angels.
No demons.
No demons.
No fears.
No fears.
No tomorrow.
No tomorrow.
No power.
No power.
All of hell.
All of hell.
Are you crying or laughing?
Yeah, I'm
who was it that said the other day, Logan asked, do all you guys talk about is hair? Like, yeah? No.
Our girls and I, we literally talked about poop and farts.
And I have to be like, I have to say something.
It's my opinion on
But
this.
whoever made this guac, I love you. I am. Ready? Ready? Okay, I have to say something. But whoever made that guac, you made it. I freaking love you. It is so good.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that. I was like, it's nasty.
It was so good. Huh?
I did not see that coming.
It's so good.
No.
told me. He told me that. Dude, I know. And he's my roommate too, man. You guys realize that dinner is gonna be in like half an hour?
We don't speak of dinner here.
I will.
Oh my goodness! Tanner, did you just like exercise?
I don't see myself as a kid person. Like, I am not the guy running around playing with kids like I do and I enjoy it. The fact that the Lord would have me start this ministry and be so involved with this over the last 5 years is super surprising to me. But I'm surprised as I walk in it more and more how much I actually really do love it. I can use my gift mix to orchestrate things, to recruit, to raise money, and put people into place so they can go get into their calling. And it really goes back to that whole body of Christ. Like, we have the right hand, we have the left hand. You don't have to be what I am, but I don't have to be what you are. It's so beautiful, like I said, getting older, looking over the course of your life and seeing how faithful that the Lord is. And most of the time we didn't even realize it.
Compass, those kids are asking some deep questions here. Like, they're like, they just have to keep going to the bathroom. You know, like, I'm like, no.
Like, in our outreach locations, people were like, oh, minding the gap, minding the gap.
Yeah. Thank you.
That was like one of the first ones, and then that was also like my favorite set.
I'm so happy to hear that you're having fun. Because at the end of the day, like, so often ministry can be so mundane and boring and like, it's like pulling teeth. But I really think that like ministry should be fun.
Be intentional with the main goal being this kid. How can I share Jesus? These kids need you. If you can spend the whole time talking to them, like one-on-one with one kid,
That's so good.
and that kid isn't listening to anything I'm saying, but that kid is hearing everything you're saying, like, let it be multiplied. So you have like, you know, songs where you're doing something. We're together in this. I understand.
Predestined right there.
What is happening?
11.
We're not this conversation again.
Dude, you would kill it.
You need conversation.
It's really fun. Hey, Mike. This is interesting.
It's like, I need to
Hey, Yon.
So the word predetermined, determined before, ordained, destiny. That doesn't
You know how you make it?
That doesn't mean. I'm not trying to.
Wait, what's your conclusion?
Like why would he create the tree in the beginning? If we're predestined in heaven, why would he?
Okay,
why would he give
wait.
us a choice? That's
Predestination defeats the whole purpose of God being about the journey.
And then God's not relational, and religion's better than the relationship.
It just means he chooses who's in a relationship with him.
No, you want to
It's predestinating, you know?
Because it's by the will of God that things will happen.
It says it does not therefore depend on human desire or effort, but on God's mercy. Therefore, God has mercy on whom he wants to have mercy on, and hardens whom he wants to harden. One of you will say to me, then why does God still blame us? But who are you, a human, to talk back to God? That part where he's talking about the pottery is really weird, because he's like,
Some for honorable use, some for dishonorable use. The whole predestination thing is just that. What does the Bible say biblically, right? So I'm just throwing out Bible verses, right? That Romans 9 is a first chapter that nobody likes to talk about in the Armenian camp. Just saying, throwing that out there because it's a very strange chapter. It's weird, right? That doesn't sound pleasant.
What if it's like a combination of both, where it's like God knows what's up, but he still lets us decide in the end.
like you choose God, and therefore you are predestined to choose God, basically.
For those God foreknew, he also predestined to be conformed to the image of his Son, that he might be the firstborn among many brothers and sisters. And those he predestined, he also called. Those he called, he also justified. Those he justified, he also glorified.
So I have a question. So, say like someone's like born without like a calling or something, can they still like give their life to Christ?
1 Timothy chapter 2, verse 3 and 4, it says, this is good and pleases God our Savior, who wants all people to be saved and to come to knowledge of the truth. So like, doesn't that God, it's like out this. So it says that God wants all people. That's a desire God has. But like that's different than like the will of
It doesn't mean it's gonna happen.
like it could say the will of God is to have all people saved and come to knowledge of Him. And we know that it's the will of God and will become true. But it's a desire that God has.
That's not true. It's the will of God for Adam and Eve to be in union with Him and us to stay in the garden in the beginning. That will then come true.
He predestined us for adoption to sonship through Jesus Christ, in accordance with His pleasure and will, to the praise of His glorious grace, which He has freely given us in the one He loves.
Those who are predestined, like He predestines all who love Him to be conformed to the image of His Son, that He might be the firstborn among many brothers and sisters. Like the way I read it is, He doesn't pick and choose necessarily like who He wants to be saved, because He loves us all, like even when we're away from Him. Like He died for us in our sin. But He predestines all who love Him to be conformed to the image of Christ and to be justified.
That's good.
Oh, so if you choose to love Him.
Go, Brandon.
I think it worked out for
Yeah, because I would be
Brandon the preacher.
I'd be concerned to say.